What's the deal with these bindings?
Alright, welcome to Marksplaining. I'm Mark. On this episode of Marksplaining, we're going to be looking at bindings. What we have here is the conventional two-strap. There are many other bindings out there, step-ins, step-ons, rear entry, and many more crazy contraptions that have come out. But your tried and true is your two-strap conventional binding. So what we're really going to concentrate on today is setting your bindings to match your boots and doing your bindings up so they fit your boots properly and you're riding properly on your binding. So first off, you find your boot size, you get your boot size to match your binding size. Binding sizes mostly come
Small, medium, large.
So if you're a 10, you're going to be hovering around between probably a medium and a large. You don't want to max your binding out. It's better to shrink your binding down to fit the boot than it is to max the straps out all the way to get a big boot into a smaller binding. I've got bindings here from K2, Flux and Ride, a DC boot, and a Ride boot, and we're going to show you different fits and how they should go. Okay, so every company has their own type of ratchet, but they all work the same. Crank it down for on, slide it up for off. They're usually a pull back and a pull forward. Once you've used it once, that's how it works. Next, you've got your toe strap. It does the same thing. Once you get those undone, you're going to drop your boot in. And when you go boot in, you're going to go toe and heel and slide it down. That way your heel locks right into the back of the binding. That's where you want to have your boot, right to the back. If it's up with a space, you're going to find as you're riding down the hill, it's going to get wobbly and you're going to end up getting hurt. So make sure it's right into the back. Then you go with your heel strap, in, crank it down, and toe strap. But oh, look at this. The straps are all the way to the end. Not a good spot for them to be. What you gotta do is adjust your straps. So before you're even on the board, get those straps adjusted so they're straight across the boot. Most bindings now have a quick release, so you can adjust and slide to where your strap should be. Set, lock, and ratchet it down so it's nice and snug and straight across the boot. That doesn't look too bad at all. Do the same thing with the toe. Ratchet, pop it. Same thing with the toe. Pop it, adjust it, lock it, and it should come across and lock in over your toe nicely. Each boot's gonna fit a little different, so each strap's gonna fit a little different. It takes a bit to set them up, but once you get them locked in, you're in good shape. All right, cool thing these days is the toe cap strap. It's a strap that goes right over the toe of your boot and pulls your boot back snug into the binding. Really great to have, but you've got to dial it in so it's fitting right across the toe of the boot, pulling you back in. All right, so when you're looking for a binding, you want to make sure that your binding's not too big or your boot's too small for the binding. Look at this. Doesn't even match. This all the way too around and it's adjusted already. Not the right size boot for the binding. Oh, but here's a binding that's the right size for a smaller boot. Heel down, strap locks, awesome. But that is all the way across and it is shortened. What you can do is pop, slide them back, pop, slide them back, and that shortens them even more. Oh, and now you got a perfect fit. If you have a size 12 or bigger, you may have to adjust your binding from the heel cup. And to do that, you're gonna have to undo a couple of screws and pull the heel cup back, like this. So with this binding, to adjust the heel cup, you're gonna undo this screw, pop it out, loosen this screw on both sides. So you've undone that screw, push the back through, pop it out, loosen these. That heel cup slides right back, drop the screws back in, tighten them back up, and now you've grown the binding from a 10 to a 14 or a 15. One more thing to look at on the binding will be your forward lean. Most bindings have it on the back of the high back of the binding. It undoes, slides down, locks, and that puts lean on the back of your high back to push into your boot to bend your knees, pushing everything forward, hence forward lean. All right, so in closing, we've been through boots last week, bindings this week. Next week we'll be mounting to the board and talking about stance angles, binding angles, the whole bit. But for this week, that's been bindings. I'm Mark. Bye.